Hi, Mike Rizzuto here from Mastermind Incorporated. Welcome back to our Mastermindinc.net YouTube channel. You may remember a few months ago we started on this insane project to refinish the Eldorado Brougham roof. And so, as promised, we are showing you the finished product. After months of very hard physical work with several guys working full-time, this Brougham roof is finally complete. And I can tell you the level of tedium involved in this is almost indescribable. Without a doubt, this was absolutely the worst condition Brougham roof we've ever had to restore. This thing had so many problems, it was unbelievable. This job was extremely high risk and extremely stressful because of the extensive repairs that were required. I lost a lot of sleep over this one, I can tell you, and it's a major relief to have this finally finished. So, on top of all the very serious damage we had to repair, there was an incredible amount of very strange problems built into the roof of the factory. Amazingly, as the work progressed, we found even more unusual problems than the ones documented in the previous videos. It seems as if this roof was originally built by the new guy at the factory on Monday morning or Friday afternoon. You may remember from previous videos we had a multitude of problems that we saw at the beginning. Basically a giant 4-foot crease in the middle of the roof, which also created an 18 to 24 inch diameter low spot, all in the very center of the roof, where it's nearly impossible to repair because it has no support and oil cans like crazy when you work on it. Trying to straighten that was like trying to straighten the side of a Volkswagen bus without using any Bondo or even primer. So you can imagine that. We also had a large 3-foot crease that was extensively damaged by someone attempting to repair it themselves, which made the job 10 times harder and more stressful than it needed to be. We had miscellaneous, small dents and factory waves in areas you could not get behind because the inner structure was in the way, which is typically not a problem, but on this car it had several places where we had a problem like that. Hundreds of small flat spots and divots put in by the drum sander when the flat sheet was originally brushed at the factory. Again, we're in the middle of the roof where it's nearly impossible to repair because it oil cans and it moves around like crazy. Then on top of that, we found even more very severe factory problems when we got into the final finishing stage. The entire right-hand side of the roof that had not been badly damaged, because the majority of the major repairs were left of center, had a series of very shallow and narrow low spots, roughly every inch or so apart. These were depressions that ran exactly with the lines of the brush finishing, so they weren't noticeable when the thing was dull and scratched up. They were not deep enough to start pounding them out, but too deep for the abrasives to reach into. All we could do at this point was thin the metal out, which is extremely scary on something like this, which is something we're always trying not to do. It seems as if someone at the factory dropped some gravel or debris or something on the flat sheet, then ran it through the drum sander. This debris compressed the surface of the sheet steel, which changed the surface on a molecular level. Basically, they ground deep depressions into the sheet from front to back every inch or so. These depressions ran exactly with the brush line, so it could not have been damage that happened after the fact. Yet again, in the middle of the roof was nearly impossible to repair. Of course, let's not forget the usual factory imperfections and miscellaneous low spots that all the Broughams have. This car also had more than its fair share of those. No doubt about it, this was the Brougham roof from hell. It has been one step forward, 2 or 3 steps back the entire way. It took an extraordinary effort and quite a lot of extra labor hours, sleepless nights, and just very, very, very stressful days. However, the results ultimately turned out very high quality. I would say it's a work of art. As Michelangelo once famously said, perfection is made up of trifles, but perfection is no trifle. It was a fight to the finish. Our arms and legs feel like rubber, and we're exhausted both mentally and physically. My son and I both look like 2 drunks holding each other up at this point. But I want to get on there. The upside is we figure if this Brougham restoration gig does not work out, we can always embark on a life of crime, since we no longer have any fingerprints. So stay tuned, as we tackle other insanely difficult projects in the future. Thanks for watching, and remember, when you're working on a Brougham, Mastermind Inc. Doing what seems impossible for over 35 years.